friends, welcome to Mission Viewfinder. Today we're going to be talking about how ministry is God's rescue plan. This is part 3 in a series, Why Do Ministry? And we hope that if you haven't seen the first 2, you'll go back to our channel page and you can see those 2 videos that we've done already in this series. But for today, let's get going.
I read a story one time about a man who lived in a very cold place, think Alaska or Canada, someplace like that. And he was walking to the next village over. And it was very cold, it was snowing, kind of like a blizzard. And he started to experience hypothermia. And his body temperature started going down, and as a result of that, his mind started to not work very good. And he started to feel very cold, but then he was kind of getting past that and not feeling so cold, which is really a dangerous place to be. And he started to feel like he just wanted to lay down and sleep for a little while, just to rest before continuing on. And as he was thinking about that, he saw up ahead a man who was laying in the snow. And he thought, that man is lying in the snow. He's going to die if he stays there. And so he went to the man and he shook him and he woke him up, and he was really cold, and so he got him up on his feet and he started making him walk around and rubbing his limbs and everything to try and get him warmed up, and he helped this man continue on and get to the village that they were both headed to. And that story is just a powerful illustration, because the man who was walking and was wanting to lay down, he saw someone who was in the exact state he would have been if he'd laid down. If he'd laid down, he would have died, because you go to sleep like that and your body just freezes. So it was in helping this other man that he was himself saved. He set aside self, even though it wasn't as much like I don't want to set aside self. It was just kind of this, I have to help that man, he's going to die. And so he was putting self aside to help that man, and in doing that, he himself was saved. And I believe that God has a rescue plan for the people in this world who are lost, who don't have a relationship with him, who maybe haven't heard the gospel, or those who have but have just kind of turned their back and slipped away from God. God has a plan for them, and that is to use you and me. And in using you and me to reach those, God wants to use that to save us as well. And not only was that self-denial in putting the other man first, but it also showed him tremendous love. And if it weren't for that love, that man would have died laying in the snow there.
It's actually quite a while after my family got to the foreign mission field that I started to realize that God didn't bring me to the mission field just to help other people. He had brought me to the mission field really to work in my own life, like a lot. And that really started to dawn on me as I started to see imperfections in my character. As I was, working to try to help other young people, to teach them, academically, spiritually, whatever it was like, it really started to dawn on me that while I was there teaching them, it was like I had so much to learn. And so there were times when I asked God, it was like, did you bring me here to help them or just to work in me? So working to help other people know about God, to know God, to understand God, was definitely putting me in a place where God was able to work in my life like he hadn't been able to before. And I grew so much while we were at that school, so much. And even now as I look back on the experiences that I had there, it's like I still had so much to learn, and I have so much to learn still from those experiences. in short, in my experience, working for God is definitely a way of developing Christ-like character. It's one of his ways of rescuing us from our selfish human natures, from our really just un-Christ-like human natures, and transforming us so that we too can be saved.
I love it how God asks us to do something, and it seems like it's going to take a lot of self-denial and sacrifice, and indeed it does. But in that, putting God first and his desires first, we are changed, our characters are prepared for heaven, and in showing or in choosing to make that self-denial, God's love is shown to the people that he's called us to reach. Thanks so much for joining us. I hope this was a blessing to you and encouraged you to do ministry. If it was, hit subscribe, like, and leave us a comment below. We'd love to hear from you. And we look forward to seeing you next week for part 4 in the series of Why Do Ministry. See you then. God bless.